Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and today is the start of another reading vlog. I am vlogging the Romanceathon, which is taking place this week from the 17th of June to the 23rd, I believe. And it is hosted by two hosts, Jacqueline over at Weeby Bookin' and Gabby over at Gabby Reads. And I am so excited to participate in this readathon. You will notice that I do look really similar to how I look in a couple clips from the Buzzword Readathon vlog, and that is because the two readathons overlap by 2 days, and I'm filming separate clips for each readathon, even on the same day. So a lot of crazy over here. It's about 3 p.m. now, and I just finished my first book for the Romanceathon readathon, and I finished Petal Pucker by Iris Moreland, and this is the first book in the Flower Shop Sisters series. I think there's going to be a total of 3 books, and this is about a girl named Dandelion who goes by Danny for short, and she's been working and running her parents' flower shop called Buds and Blossoms over in Seattle, Washington. And she is 26 years old and still a virgin, and she definitely wants to remedy that situation. And ever since she got ditched at prom 9 years ago by her first love, Jacob, she hasn't really had the best luck in the love department, and hence why she's still a virgin. She doesn't expect to ever see him again because he moved to New York City, but one day he shows up in her shop and back in her life, and they are definitely back in each other's lives, and it brings a lot of emotions back from when they were dating in high school. This book is labeled as a steamy romantic comedy, and I would definitely agree with that. It is super steamy, so if you like steamy, I would highly recommend this. And it is pretty funny as well. A lot of the innuendos and everything are pretty clever. I wish this book was a little bit longer. It's only a little bit more than 200 pages. I wish I maybe got 300 pages, but I still really enjoyed it, and I liked the main character Danny a lot. I think the story could have benefited from dual perspectives. We didn't get to hear much from Jacob, who is our main hero, and we didn't really get to see much of him. We got to see surface level and him in sexy times and things like that, but we didn't get to learn much about him on a deeper level. And he wasn't really painted as the best type of person. He was kind of painted as a jerk at times. And so I just wish we had seen a little bit more of him and a little bit more of how he felt, so that way I felt more connected to him. But I still really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to read the second book, which comes out this summer, and it is about the sister Mary, I think is her name, and I'm really excited for that one. I ended up giving Petal Pucker 4 stars, and this counts for the challenge of read a 2019 romance release. So I'm not really sure what I want to read next. I'm thinking I might want to read Carrie Winfrey's Waiting for Tom Hanks. It's a shorter romance. So I might pick that one up next. I am going to be reading a book for Buzzwordathon for the remainder of the evening, so I probably won't update till later or tomorrow. And when I make some progress in my next romance book, I will come back and update you guys. So it's day number 2 for Romanceathon. It is about noon, and I did finish a book. I started it last night and I finished it this morning. It was a really quick read, under 300 pages, and I really enjoyed it. It is Waiting for Tom Hanks by Carrie Winfrey, and this one came out last week, and for me it fulfills the challenge of reading a book with pink on the cover, and it has some pink text on here, and it could count for a 2019 romance release. And I thought this story was so cute. It follows a girl named Annie who is in her mid-20s, and she is an aspiring screenwriter. She lives with her uncle in Ohio, and she works like online doing some like little writing articles here and there, but she really wants to be a screenwriter, and she's obsessed with romantic comedy movies, specifically ones from like the 80s and the 90s. And this is full of like plugs from those movies, like quotes and just little things from the movies. So if you love rom-coms like I do, you will love this story. Especially You've Got Mail is mentioned a lot, and that's one of my favorite romantic comedy movies. So this one, really enjoyed it in that aspect. So in Annie's small town, a movie is being filmed there in her neighborhood, and she somehow gets a job as the director's personal assistant, and she comes face to face with the actor on set named Drew. And he is a Hollywood kind of playboy and a prankster. And he's the total opposite of Tom Hanks, which is the boy next door and her dream guy. but of course it is their romance, and it is really cute, and I really liked their relationship. I thought the dramas in here were a little juvenile and a little petty, but with that aside, I still really enjoyed the romantic aspect, and I loved the 90s like romantic comedy plugs, so I ended up giving this one 4.25 stars. I'm looking at my TBR. I have a photo on my Instagram. I'm looking at it, and I have quite a few I could read on my Kindle. So I have The Deal by Elle Kennedy, and this one is a new adult romance, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I always hear such great things about it. And then I also have Cold Hearted Boss by R.S. Gray, which just came out, and I love R.S. Gray, so I might read that one next. But then I also have Us by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, and I've been dying to read the second half of this duet. So I have a couple others as well, but I think those are kind of in the top tier right now of what I want to get to. And it's really hard to decide what I want to read. I do have a doctor's appointment in about an hour or so, so I have to get to that, and I won't have time to read until I get home from that. So I might not read till a little bit later, but once I pick a book and once I make some progress, I will come back and update you guys. Welcome back to day number 3 of Romanceathon. I know I have been terrible about updating. The last 2 days I've only updated 1 time per day, but life has been just a little bit crazy. I'm currently transitioning Avery from formula to whole milk as she's approaching a year old, and it has been an interesting situation. She really enjoys the whole milk, but it has been causing some constipation, and she does eat a lot of solid food now, like baby purees. And I just think her digestive system is not handling everything so well, and it has been a real struggle and a real fussy baby, and she's been teething at the same time. So this mom is tired, and I have been reading. I've just been really busy, and like I said yesterday, I went to the doctor's, and it is like bittersweet news. It is good because I got my referral to go over to the OBGYN. Usually they make you wait 1 year of trying before you are referred for fertility treatments, but because of my history and everything and all the symptoms I'm having, and because I couldn't get pregnant on my own the first time, they are referring me already, and so I'm going through all the testing, and I'm probably going to be starting fertility medication soon here, maybe within the next few months, and so I'm happy and relieved in that regard. But it's a little bittersweet just because I wasn't expecting to have to do this all over again. I do have to go in today to set up an ultrasound because they have you get an ultrasound to check out your ovaries, your cervix, and your uterus just to make sure nothing alarming is going on. And then I have to get a bunch of blood work done because they want to check your hormone levels and double check you're not pregnant and things like that. So I have to get all that stuff done. I am really relieved that I'm getting the ball rolling on all of this, but like I said, it is a little bittersweet because it's a really hard road to go down, and it was really hard for me and emotional for me the first time just because I dealt with miscarriages and just a lot of struggles. So I'm just hoping I don't have to deal with just as many things this time. I'm hoping it's a little bit smoother. But on a happier note, I have been reading. I started Cold Hearted Boss by R.S. Gray last night, and I am about halfway through, a little bit over halfway, and this is an enemies to lovers forbidden romance. It's very light on the forbidden. It is about a girl named Taylor who really needs money, and there is a construction site that pops up near her area about an hour away, and her cousin is like, hey, if you dress up as a dude, you could go work there and they make a lot of money. So she does. She tries to go and work there, but clearly no one believes that she's a guy, but they give her a job as the boss's personal assistant. And her boss turns out to be a guy named Ethan who she hooked up with in a bar bathroom, and it didn't end very well, and so she's really surprised to see him, and she knows she's screwed. And it is a hate to love kind of situation with them, and it is forbidden because it's her boss and it's a romance with her boss, and their banter is really funny, it's really witty, and they have this kind of like game of trying to make the other person more uncomfortable and just annoy the other person because they really don't like each other. And there's no romance that has started yet, but you know that they are attracted to each other and the sexual tension is there. So I am so excited to finish this one, and I'm really glad I picked it up because it kind of just put me in a way better mood. So I'm going to keep reading this, and I probably will finish it before I update next, but I am determined to update more than once today, so I will be back later. Okay, so it's about 10 p.m. and I am ready to go to sleep. I am so exhausted. I had an extremely long day. It has been challenging lately with Avery, so I am just ready to go to sleep. But I did end up getting to 75% the way through with Cold Hearted Boss by R.S. Gray. I was hoping to finish it tonight, but I'm just too tired, so I'm gonna have to just complete it tomorrow. But I'm really liking it. We finally have gotten to the romance between Ethan and Taylor, and it is steamy and great, and I love it. I really love how R.S. Gray writes enemies to lovers, and this is no exception, and I'm loving it so far. So if I had to rate it right now, I would probably rate it between 4 and 5 stars. I'm really enjoying it. To me, it's on the same level as Hot Shot Doc, and I loved that one by R.S. Gray. So yes, I highly recommend checking it out because this one is so good and it put me in a good mood every time I picked it up. So I cannot wait to finish it tomorrow. Okay, it is about 10:30, day number 4 of Romanceathon, and I am feeling much more refreshed. I had a very difficult night last night and a very early morning, but I had some coffee, did some reading and some cooking, and I'm feeling much better. I finished Cold Hearted Boss by R.S. Gray earlier this morning, and I absolutely loved this story. The romance between the two main characters was just fire, and I was all there for it. And I really did like the ending as well and the little epilogue portion. I'm so happy that I read this new release by R.S. Gray because this just made me want to read all of her enemies to lovers books. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars, and I highly recommend it. And then I took a look at my TBR and kind of checked out what is the least amount of pages of the books that I had left because I wanted to read a full another book today. So I chose I Dare You by Isla Madden Mills, and this one is a new adult sports romance, and it's only about 250 pages, so it's a really quick read, and I'm already over halfway finished. This is about a college junior named Delaney, and she catches her boyfriend cheating on her, and he is a football player. Delaney dumps her boyfriend and says she will never date someone who plays sports again, specifically football. Of course, the school's biggest and best football player takes an interest in her, and his name is Maverick. She can't help but like him. He's super arrogant and irresistible and sexy, and she does have a thing for him, and she learns that he has way more depth than she first thought, and she definitely has a connection with him, and you can tell it's their romance. She also gets these anonymous texts from someone who got her phone number from a flyer, and she has kind of a romance going on with him as well, and she has no idea who he is, but she knows that he is a sports star. You know, as a reader, that Maverick and He-Man, the guy over text, are the same person, and she's having feelings for both guys. You're kind of wondering when she's going to figure out the connection. To me, it's so obvious, and I think she's being a little naive, not seeing the connections, because He-Man and Maverick, they're basically acting the same exact way, so I feel like it's obvious, but for the point of the story, it just takes her a while to figure that out, and I'm kind of curious where the story will go once she does figure it out. But like I said, I'm halfway through, and their relationship, Maverick and Delaney, has finally started to come to fruition, so I'm kind of curious to see where that goes. Right now, I'm not loving it, but I am enjoying it, and I want to see where the story turns out. So I will come back and update you guys once I finish this one. Okay, so it's a couple hours later. It's about 2 o'clock, and I'm about to head over to the post office and drop off a package, but I did finish I Dare You by Isla Madden Mills. And this was what I expected it kind of to be. It was a new adult sports romance, and what I was expecting was drama and steam, and I got both of those. So it was super dramatic and had some petty drama in there, but it was really steamy, and I really liked the chemistry between the two main characters. And it also had a little bit of angst in there, which I wasn't surprised because of the age range of the characters. They're probably about 20, 21 if they are juniors in college. So it kind of made sense for me. I didn't love this one as much as some other people I know did. For me, it was just okay, and I enjoyed it enough where I want to read the second companion book, which just came out, called I Bet You. I think that's what it's called, and it's about one of the friends of the main character, and so I'm looking forward to that book, and I liked this book enough to want to move on to that one. but I'm not just like in love with it. I definitely enjoyed Cold Hearted Boss this morning a lot more than I Dare You. But I Dare You was a really quick read. It was probably only about 250 pages, so it just like flew by. And I really liked that about it. I just wish, I don't know, I just got more emotional depth. I feel like I didn't really get a lot of emotional depth in there. So hopefully the second book has maybe a little bit more of that. But yes, I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. So I think I'm going to run my errand, maybe get some iced coffee while I'm out, and just try to enjoy the rest of my afternoon. I might read Us by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, or The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Those are my two that I want to read next. They're around 350 pages each, so about the same. I'm kind of leaning towards reading Us because I am dying to know the conclusion to this duet, but everyone keeps telling me to read The Deal and that it's so good. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to make a decision on that one, and then I will come back when I pick one and make some progress. Okay, it's about 7 p.m. and my husband and I are about to have some burgers for dinner. And I did end up picking a book that I'm going to be reading, and I chose Us by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. And right now I'm a third of the way through and I'm really liking it. I don't want to say too much about the plot because it is the follow-up to a duet. And so I feel like if I say much about it, it would give away the first book. But it is about the main characters, Wes and Jamie, who used to be friends as kids and they went to hockey camp together. And then after not being friends for several years, they come back together at the camp and start a romance. And this book is about them navigating a relationship and what it's like to be queer in a predominantly heterosexual career field because they both play hockey. One of them, Jamie, he is a coach for hockey, whereas Wes plays professionally. And they're just navigating this relationship that's new for both of them. And I'm really enjoying it so far, and you can tell there's some pretty serious tension topics going on, and I really want to see how those are resolved. And I really like them as a couple, and so for me this is really enjoyable, and it is just as steamy as the first one. Even though it is more adult and less new adult, it still carries on that same sexual tension in there, so I'm really enjoying it. So tonight I'm going to continue reading it, and I don't know if I'll update again this evening, but I'll definitely update you guys tomorrow. Okay, so it is 1:30 the next day. It is day number 5 of Romanceathon, and I just finished my 5th book for this readathon, and that is Us by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is the second and final book in this duet, and it was the most perfect conclusion to Wes and Jamie's love story for the most perfect duet. And I absolutely loved this one. I gave it 5 stars, and I don't remember the last time I gave a full 5 stars to a romance. And I kind of want to go back and give the first book in the duet a 5-star as well. I just loved their romance, and everything about it was just perfect to me. It was the perfect combination of romance and steaminess, and had a little bit of angst thrown in, but not too much. And just all of it was perfect to me. I loved it, and like I said, I gave it 5 stars. It just makes me want to read more by both of these authors independently as well as a duo. Since it's still early in the day, I do have time to read another book. Summer-a-thon is starting today as well, so I will be reading for that for this weekend. So I will be reading for 2 readathons this weekend. But romance is generally a little quicker to read, so I still think I can tackle my TBR for Romanceathon. I will update you guys once I make some progress in one of my books for this readathon. Okay, so it's day number 6 of Romanceathon. It's about 11 a.m. and I didn't pick up any more romance books yesterday. I was reading for another readathon. But I woke up early this morning, so I had a chance to read one, and I picked up Trick Play by Max Monroe. And this is the 3rd book in the Mavericks Tackle Love series. They're all companion books about different players in the New York Mavericks football team. This one follows, I think he's the tight end, and his name is Cameron, but he goes by Cam. And the premise of this book is him and some of the teammates go to a strip club, I think called Skin or Skins, for one of their bachelor parties. And he meets this stripper that he really is interested in. Her name is Trixie, but that is her show name. And he's super attracted to her, and he keeps coming back to the strip club to kind of get to know her, and he wants to know her actual name. And she actually is an undercover cop. Her name is Lana or Lana. And she doesn't really want to get close to anyone because she doesn't want to blow her cover, but she cannot help but be attracted to Cam, and they have this romance going on while she's also an undercover cop, and she's trying to bust I think, a drug and sex trafficking ring of the owner of the strip club. And so we're following kind of that storyline as well as this romance storyline between Cam and Lana. And so far I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I'm halfway through, so it's a pretty quick read. I think I'll be able to finish this one today, but once I get a little bit further, I will come back and update you guys. So it's day number 7 of Romanceathon. I know I'm in a different location. This is my normal filming setup, so I figured while I was filming some videos, I would just do my update here. I just finished my last book for Romanceathon. I wanted to read 7 books, but I only got to read 6. And my 6th book was Trick Play by Max Monroe, and this is the 3rd book in the Mavericks Tackle Love series. And this is about the New York Mavericks tight end. His name is Cam Mitchell, and he meets an exotic dancer at a strip club named Trixie, and he is super enamored by her, and he is dying to know what her real name is, and so he keeps coming back to the strip club to talk to her. And little does he know that Trixie is actually Lana, and she is an undercover detective, and she's trying to bust a drug and sex trafficking ring. Even though he would really mess up her cover, she can't help but be attracted to him, and it's this romance between the two of them. And this one I enjoyed, but I didn't love as much as Wildcat, which is the first book in the series, and I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. And this counts for the challenge of reading a book with a man on the cover. So I'm really bummed. I wanted to read 7 romance books, and I also wanted to read The Deal by Elle Kennedy, but it just didn't happen. But I'm really happy with the 6 books that I did read, so I'll quickly go over them and give you my star rating for them and what challenge they completed. The first book that I read is Petal Pucker by Iris Moreland, and this is the first book in the Flower Shop Sisters series, and I gave this one 4 stars, and it's for the challenge of reading a 2019 romance release. The next book that I read is Waiting for Tom Hanks by Carrie Winfrey. I gave this one 4.25 stars, and it counts for the challenge of reading a book with pink on the cover. The next book that I read is I Dare You by Isla Madden Mills. This is the first book in the Hookup series. I gave this one 3.5 stars, and this counts for the challenge of reading a new adult romance. The next book that I read is Cold Hearted Boss by R.S. Gray. I gave this one 4.5 stars, and it counts for the challenge of reading a forbidden romance. The next book that I read is Us by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. I gave this 5 stars, and this counts for the challenge of reading an LGBTQA+ book. The last book that I read is Trick Play by Max Monroe. This is the 3rd book in the Mavericks Tackle Love series. I gave this 3.5 stars, and this counts for the challenge of reading a book with a man on the cover. So even though it's only 3:30 p.m. now, I kind of just want to wrap up my vlog for Romanceathon. I don't think I'm going to finish any more romance books today. So those are the 6 books that I read for this readathon. I had so much fun. I thank Jacqueline and Gabby for hosting this. I will link all these books down below, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye!